Hey, what's up? I'm Jade.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hey, I'm Haley.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Come along with us and explore England's sociological structure and their school system. Throughout our presentation, we will make comparisons to the Canadian school system.
Let's get started.
First, we will be looking at the sociological structures of England. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, social structure is the distinctive, stable arrangement of institutions whereby human beings in a society interact and live together. Social structure is often treated together with the concept of social change, which deals with the forces that change the social structure and the organization of society.
Similar to Canada, England can be divided into three main groups of classes: the lower or working class, the middle class, and the upper class. However, throughout our research, we found that the social structure breaks down into 7 social classes.
Next to each class, we have a brief description. The first one is precariat, traditional working class, emergent service workers, technical middle class, new affluent workers, established middle class, and the elite.
Next, we will explore England's education system. The first thing we noticed was how similar England's education system is to Canada's on a national level. England's school system can be broken down into state-funded and non-state-funded schools. The schools that are funded by the state are community schools, foundation and trust schools, voluntary aided schools, and voluntary controlled schools. Those that are not state-funded are specialist schools, academies, city technology colleges, special schools, and free schools. National and local taxation are used to support state-funded schools. A number of state-funded secondary schools are specialist schools receiving extra funding to develop one or more subjects in which the school specializes. State schools may request payment from parents for extracurricular activities such as swimming lessons and field trips, provided these charges are voluntary.
Funding for UK schools will change to a national formula in 2018, with some schools likely to gain from the new formula and others likely to lose. Liberal Democrat education spokesman John Pugh accused the government of having completely the wrong priorities. The Association of School and College Leaders quoted, "We are deeply concerned that the life chances of young people are being put at risk by the government's underfunding of education. This situation is very similar to what has happened in the past year right here in Newfoundland." Head teachers are considering a 4-day week among other options. Children could lose the chance to learn some subjects. Mental health support workers and teaching assistants could be made redundant due to funding shortages. Class sizes will increase and services for children with special needs will be reduced.
If your child has an EHC plan in place, which is similar to an ISP plan here in Newfoundland, you may be able to get a personal budget. This budget allows the parent to have more of a say of how to spend money on support for their child. You can have direct payments made into your account. You can have an arrangement with your local authority or school so they hold the money for you until you decide how to use it, or you can choose someone else to manage the money for you. There are also independent support programs for children of all ages that you can apply to help with the costs of special educational needs.
We will now give an overview of a typical school day in England. It is mandatory for all children between the ages of 5 and 16 to attend school every day for the entire day. Children must get an education between the school term after their 5th birthday and the last Friday in June in the school year they turn 16. If you are ill and unable to attend school, you must inform the school office on the morning of the first day. During term time, if you have to get permission from the head teacher, principal, if you want to take your child out of school. You can only take your child out of school if you make an application to the head teacher in advance, and there are exceptional circumstances. You can be fined for taking your child on holiday during term time without the school's permission. However, there is extra support available if your child can't go to school for long periods of time because of a health problem. There is usually 3 terms during the school year: autumn, spring, and summer. There is a holiday between each term. Each term also has a half-term break in the middle, which is usually a week.
Here is an example of a regular school day in England. One main difference we noticed was an extra break in the afternoon. The summer holiday begins in late July and lasts for about 6 weeks. A local education authority sets the summer dates for all schools under its control. However, academies set their own dates, but often the dates match their local schools.
There are various behavioral expectations of students in England's classrooms. Students are encouraged to be actively engaged in practical activities. Students are expected to take part in discussions and interactive lessons, as well as share their knowledge and experiences to contribute to the lesson. They are encouraged to ask questions to clarify or check their understanding. Many children in England's school system are also required to wear a uniform.
Parents are expected to be involved in multiple ways within their child's education. They are responsible for deciding on a school to apply their child to and be familiar with the national curriculum. They are responsible for their child's attendance and purchasing their child's school uniform, as well as finding safe walking or cycling routes to your child's school. Parents have the ability to appeal an exam result, deal with bullying at school, and or complain about a school or a childminder.
England, similar to Canada, has a national curriculum with a set of standards and subjects used in primary and secondary schools so that all students are learning the same thing. Schools can organize their school days any way they want as long as the national curriculum standards are being met. Other types of schools, such as private schools and academies, do not have to follow the national curriculum, as long as they include English, math, science, and religious studies.
The national curriculum is organized into blocks of years called key stages. At the end of each key stage, the teacher will formally assess your child's performance. By the end of each summer term, the school must write a report on your child's progress and talk it through with the parents. There are new national primary curriculum tests in 2016 which use scaled scores to report the outcomes of these tests to ensure we can make accurate comparisons of pupil performance over time. A scaled score of 100 will always represent the expected standard on the test. Pupils scoring 100 or more will have met the expected standard on the test.
Additionally, all state schools are required to make provisions for a daily act of collective worship, and teachers must teach religious education to students at every key stage, and sex and relationship education to students in secondary education. All schools must publish their school curriculum by subject and academic year online. However, the national curriculum is simply just one element of the education of every child. The curriculum provides an outline of the core knowledge around which teachers are able to develop exciting and stimulating lesson plans, similar to our education system here in Canada.
According to the National Student Survey in 2015, increasing student numbers are adding to marking workloads for staff. Students are also expressing more dissatisfaction with assessment and feedback than with any other aspect of their learning experience. Here in Newfoundland, as future educators, we can definitely agree that increasing class sizes is adding more stress for all parties involved. What is taught in school is often determined by what is assessed. Assessment requires teachers to use a range of assessment strategies involving students in assessing their learning and performance. Students should also recognize the relationship of assessment, setting goals, and making the progression to meet those goals. Teachers have the ability to vary how they assess formally and informally. The student's achievement within the various subject levels, again, very similar to our education system here in Canada.
In England, students in key stages 2 and 3 are expected to study French, Spanish, and German. They are expected to be fluent in all 3 foreign languages: oral comprehension, listening comprehension, and writing comprehension.
The National Union of Teachers, NUT, in England, Wales, the Channel Islands, and the Isle of Man is a trade union with over 300,000 members, consisting of qualified teachers and those training to be qualified teachers, making it the largest teachers' union in Europe. Due to its size, the NUT has many resources and staffing to meet the need of their schools and teachers, including head teachers, deputy head teachers, supply teachers, and part-time teachers, offering professional and legal support, advice, and guidance. The NUT headquarter departments are responsible for policy development and implementation, membership recording and collection, national negotiations, and providing support to the regional structure.
Membership of the union occurs through constituent associations. There are central associations and single associations divisions that cover the whole geographical areas of the local authority. The policies set in place by the union are determined at the annual conference through debates on motions submitted for consideration by associations, divisions, and the executive. The union plays a leading role in influencing education and employment policies at national and local levels. Their current policies include fair pay for teachers, work-life balance for teachers, against academies, removal of national curriculum tests, one union for all teachers, teachers' workload, curriculum, and protection for teachers.
In England, if your child requires additional support than their school provides, then they will need to attain an education, health, and care plan. An EHC plan is for children and young people aged up to 25 who need more support than is available through special educational needs support. In order to request an EHC assessment, you can ask your local authority to carry out an assessment of your child. A young person is able to request assessment themselves if they are between the ages of 16 and 25. A request may also be made by a doctor, teacher, parents, and family friends. You will be informed within 16 weeks whether an EHC plan is going to be made for your child.
When it comes time to create an EHC plan, your local authority will create a draft and send you a copy. You will then have 15 days to comment or ask that your child goes to a special needs school or college. Your local authority then has 20 weeks from the date of the assessment to give you the final EHC plan. Parents have the ability to challenge their local authority about a decision not to carry out an assessment, their decision to not create an EHC plan, or the school named in the EHC plan. If you can't resolve the issue, then you can appeal to the Special Educational Needs and Disability Tribunal.
Extended schools provide for a range of services or activities outside of the normal school day, such as clubs, activities, classes, and support for learning. There are also multiple sport clubs where students could remain active and also build their confidence and social skills. Study support and homework clubs are offered through the extended school program either before or after school, at lunch, break times, on weekends, and during school holidays. Schools may also ask for voluntary contribution to the costs of activities like school trips. They are not able to stop your child from attending if you don't pay, but the school can cancel the activity if there isn't enough money raised to cover the costs of the trip.
Schools in England have a similar breakfast program to those in Canada. However, their lunch program differs. School lunches in England consist of a main meal, dessert, and a drink, and cost £2, roughly $3.30 in Canadian dollars. Parents usually pay in advance for school lunches, which can be done online. Students who choose not to buy school lunches take one from home. Food prepared at school has to follow certain guidelines, such as food from every food group and a limit on the amount of fried food prepared.
The Equality Act of 2010 was created to codify the complicated and various array of acts and regulations, which form the basis of anti-discrimination law in the United Kingdom. This protects teachers from discrimination in employment on grounds of religion or belief, sexual orientation, and age. Trans rights are also protected, banning discrimination by schools on the grounds of gender reassignment. Every school in England must follow the Equality Act's public sector equality duty, which includes LGBT equality. However, personal, social, and health education, which includes sex and relationships, is not mandatory in England's schools.
In conclusion, the biggest difference we found between England's school system and Canada's school system was that England's school system was more rigorous about school policies, attendance, and scheduling. Thanks for listening to our presentation.